Behind the calm, quiet surface of your home's walls, there's this whole hidden world, a complex network of wires that powers our daily lives. It's totally out of sight, out of mind, right? But getting that hidden wiring right, well, that is absolutely critical for the safety of your home. So today, we're going to peek behind the drywall and look at one of the most important and honestly most overlooked safety rules in all of electrical work.
Come on, you know the scene. If you've ever changed a light switch or an outlet, you've seen it. You pop off the cover and there it is. A jumble of wires packed so tightly into a little plastic or metal box. It just looks like a chaotic spaghetti mess, and it is so tempting to just stuff it all back in and screw the cover plate on.
But here's the thing. That tangled mess, it isn't just untidy. It can be incredibly dangerous. When a box is overstuffed like that, it can lead to some really, really serious problems. Yeah, an overstuffed electrical box is basically a ticking time bomb, and for a few key reasons. First up is heat. See, wires generate heat when electricity flows through them. It's just physics. And if they're crammed together with zero airspace, that heat has nowhere to go. It can't dissipate, and that can actually melt the wire's insulation. And when that insulation is damaged, well, that can lead to short circuits and arcing. We're talking tiny lightning strikes inside your wall, which are one of the main causes of electrical fire. The good news is, this isn't just some guessing game. There is a precise engineered system that's designed to prevent this exact problem. It makes sure every installation has enough room to be safe. It's all laid out in what's basically the electrician's Bible, the National Electrical Code, or the NEC. The specific rule we're zooming in on today is NEC Article 314.16. This section of the code gives us a really clear mathematical formula to make sure an electrical box never gets dangerously overcrowded. It's the official method for calculating something called box fill. So what even is a box fill calculation? Well, to put it simply, it's a system. It assigns a number value to everything that takes up space inside a box. We're talking the wires, the switches, the outlets, even the little cable clamps. And by adding up all these values, we can know for certain if our installation is safe and up to code. The best way to think about this is like packing a suitcase for a trip. You can't just keep shoving clothes in there forever, right? Eventually, it's not going to close, and you're just going to crush everything inside. An electrical box is exactly the same. Every wire is like a shirt. Every outlet is like a pair of shoes. Each one takes up a specific amount of volume, and that box has a very strict capacity limit. So, how do we actually count the items in our electrical suitcase? Well, the NEC makes it pretty simple. Each current-carrying wire, that's your hots and your neutrals, counts as one. Now, here's a super important detail. It doesn't matter how many bare copper or green grounding wires you have in there. All of them combined only count as one, total. Same thing goes for all the internal cable clamps. You lump them all together, they just count as one. And finally, the big space hog. A device like a receptacle or a switch, that gets a count of. All right, so theory is great and all, but let's see how this actually works in a real-world situation. We'll use a super common example, wiring a single outlet in a standard electrical box. Okay, so imagine this. We've got one cable coming into the box bringing the power and one cable leaving the box to feed the next outlet down the line. And we're going to install one standard receptacle in this box. So the question is, what's our total fill count? Let's just walk through it together. First, we count the current carrying conductors. The incoming cable has a hot and a neutral, and the outgoing cable has a hot and a neutral. So that's 4. Next, the grounds. We have 2 ground wires, but remember the rule. They only count as 1 total. Now, let's say this particular box doesn't have any internal clamps, so that's a 0. Finally, the receptacle itself. That counts as 2. So let's tally it all up. We've got 4 for the hot and neutral wires, plus 1 for all the grounds, and 2 for the receptacle. That brings our total conductor fill count to 7. So is a count of 7 okay? To find out, we just have to look at the box itself. You see, boxes are actually stamped with their volume, which tells you the maximum number of conductors they're allowed to hold. A standard deep box for 14-gauge wire can typically hold 9. So since our count of 7 is less than the maximum of 9, this installation passes with flying colors. This is a perfect example of how the code creates a clear, built-in margin of safety. Okay, but passing the math test, that's really only half the battle. Having enough space is one thing, but using that space correctly is a whole other ballgame. The National Electrical Code also has some really strict rules for how the devices themselves have to be installed to make sure you have a safe and reliable connection. The code gets really specific here.
in articles like NEC 406 and 300.15. You have to make sure there's proper grounding to protect against shock. All your connections must be tight and secure. A loose wire is a classic source of dangerous arcing and heat. The device has to be mounted firmly to the box so it can't wiggle around and put stress on the wiring. And you can't just use a device box as a free-for-all junction point for splices, unless, of course, it's properly sized for that extra volume.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The math ensures the space. The technique ensures the safety. You absolutely need both parts of that equation. The calculation guarantees you have the physical room, but it's the careful, professional technique that actually turns that space into a safe and lasting connection.
So, as we start to bring this all together, it becomes really clear that these rules, they're not arbitrary. They're part of a carefully designed system that translates all that electrical theory into a practical, repeatable process for a safe, professional job every single time.
You know, at the end of the day, following the code for box fill is about so much more than just satisfying an inspector. It's about fundamental safety. It's about preventing the kind of hidden hazard that can lead to catastrophic failure. It's about protecting your home, your property, and most importantly, the people inside it. Every connection, every box, every single wire behind your walls tells a story. It's a story about the care and professionalism, or the lack of it, that went into the installation. It's a silent story, but it's one with very, very real consequences. After all this, I hope you have a better idea of what a safe story looks like.